audacity now. Confidence with nerve, courage or chaos, depends how it's served. From letting all that, staring and brave, or reckless enough to misbehave. Is walking in knowing you belong, or stepping too far knowing you're wrong. Somewhere like truth, sharp and clean. Some swinging loud, rude and obscene. It's nerve, it's gall on blanking face, knowing the rules still testing grace. Audacity ain't always wrong. It's about the ground you standing on. Truth got weight, ego loud. One build bridges, one burn them down. That's audacity. The good, the bad, the bold, the messy. It'll lift you up or disrespect me. Same word, different legacy. Yeah, audacity. Power dressing bravery, or entitlement wearing bravery. Intent tell me everything. Positive connotations. Positive audacity and looking like faith. Choosing growth over staying safe. Speaking truth when the room stay quiet. Dreaming past the fear inside it. Claiming space that wasn't free, but should have been historically. It's betting on yourself alone when nobody else believed that tone. Starting small, thinking wide, turning pressure into pride. That's audacity done right. Rooted in love, fueled by light. Not trying to prove, just being real. Moving with purpose, moving with feel. That's audacity. When courage walk with empathy, strength with soul and decency. That's how legends come to be. Audacity. When faith speaks louder than the doubt. When you know who you are, no cloud. Just presence when you walk it out. Laxity. Negative connotations. Laxity. All negative connotations. Not shocking audacity, wear a mask. Commanding grace and never asks. Crossing lines, calling it bold. Ego loud, spirit cold. Taking credit for another's crime. Calling harm, honesty. Crossing time is confidence without respect. Access without consent. Talking big, delivering small. Still expecting it all. Boldness versus audacity. Boldness move around to care. Audacity don't always check who there. Boldness say I believe in me. Audacity say I don't care who see. Boldness steady, built to last. Audacity fast, foot on the gas. One aligned, the other louder. One stand tall, one stand proud. Yeah. Bravery, exhalation. That's to be, that's to be, that's to be. My robot audacity look like this. Sitting still when told to dismiss. Changing systems, shifting norms. Breaking cycles, weathering storms. Shocking audacity look like entitlement. Privilege mistaken for confidence. Taking space you didn't earn. Burning bridges, never learn. As audacity, it ain't the volume, it's the why. It ain't the walk, it's what you justify. Power without love turns savage quick, but courage with soul that's rich. Yeah, audacity. Check the mirror when you speak. Is it strength or is it weak? Same fire, crown a queen, or burn a bridge you didn't mean. So before you call it brave, ask what you really gave. Audacity, reveal the truth, not the words, the proof.
Steps off, baby. This ain't just a vibe, it's a sanctuary. You just walked into the Love Palace. Welcome to a daily dose of D. Wrap yourself in satin truth. This love ain't rushed, it's velvet smooth. Silk on your spirit, rose in your mouth. Let me show you what healing's really about. Ooh, she don't play with pleasure, nah. Only pours it where it's earned. Let it burn slow. A daily dose of D. Let the love run deep and free. One touch and you'll believe. She's the calm, she's the heat, she's the peace you need. Here in the love palace, where even broken ships sail smooth. Anchor down, baby, daily dose of D. Your prescription to feel seen. No refills, just show up and receive. Let your ships drift into healing seas. We don't chase waves, we ride them. She don't beg, she just glows.
They said, I have the audacity. But what they really meant was, I stopped asking permission to exist comfortably in rooms that once required my silence. They called it audition because no one was firm. My yes was intentional, and my boundaries came without apology. Audacity is dangerous when it lives in the wrong hands, but revolutionary when it finally lives in yours. Welcome to Daily Dose of Dee. Grand rising, grand afternoon, or grand evening, depending on what time of day you're watching Daily Dose of Dee. I am your host, Goddess Via Love. I hope everyone's been having a fabulous week. We have made it to the middle of the week, y'all. Yes, we have. Some people call it hump day. Some call it wind down Wednesday. I call it that too. I call it Wellness Wednesday. But you know what I'm going to call it today? Walk it out Wednesday. Walk it out Wednesday. We're going to walk and talk it out Wednesday, to be exact. So we're going to go ahead and get right into the dialogue. Thank you for coming to Daily Dose of Dee today. And if you did not notice what the word of the day is, I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. The word of the day is audacity, a willingness to take bold risk, rude or disrespectful behavior included. And let's not forget our quote of the day. Tact and audacity is knowing how far you can go without going too far. Okay? So, here at Daily Dose of Dee, I'm always going to give you both sides of it. Because when we think about audacity, we like the audacity. But it's more than that, right? It's more than that. So let's go ahead and dive right into this subject, right? So listen here. Have you ever watched someone do something so incredibly bold and courageous, so completely outrageous, that all you can think was, ooh, they had the audacity. We've all seen it, right? The moment when your jaws drop, your eyes wide, and only one phrase comes to mind. The sheer audacity. But what does that actually mean? Is audacity a superpower that fuels world changers, or is it just a polite word for being a jerk? Or you already know, y'all. Today we're going to unpack the double-edged sword of the human ego. We're going to dig deep into You know what? This word, the ancient Latin roots of the word, to the toxic audacity culture taking over your social media feed. So by the end of Daily Dose of Dee today, you'll know how to tell the difference between a bold leader and a promiscuous, egotistic person. Let's just keep it above. And more importantly, you will learn the exact psychology you need to handle the audacious people in your own life without losing your cool, man. Okay? So, buckle up. We're about to talk, we're talking about the power and psychology of audacity. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this definition and origin again, right? So at the core, audacity is defined as, it says, the willingness to take bold risks. But that's the simple definition, right? It hides a lot of different things. It comes from the Latin word audacia, meaning boldness, daring, or insolence. You can see the split right there, right? Baked into all this DNA. Y'all see how that has two different meanings? Audacity means boldness, daring, a willing to take risks. Originally, it wasn't negative. Let's just, once I studied this was not meant to be a negative word. It was meant to be courage in action. But over time, culture, they got uncomfortable with people who move without fear and who are courageous, especially when they don't fit the approved image of confidence. So, as time went on, audacity is the willingness to act boldly, often with regard for approval, consequences, or even the social comfort. Now, listen up, everybody. Audacity itself is neutral. It's the intention behind it that determines whether it's admired or if it's offensive. It's all about intention, everyone. Whatever you do, it's always about intention, okay? So keep that in mind. So when you hear the word audacity, do you think confidence or do you think disrespect? I know me, I usually say on the audacity, that means in a disrespectful way. But that's why here at Daily Dose of Dee, we're doing duality so we can learn that there can be good and bad and all. I don't want to say that. That there's two different sides to the word. How about that? And also ask yourself, who taught us that boldness, having courage, having no fear, needs permission? When you hear the word audacity, do you think confidence or disrespect? I asked you that again. So let's sit with that. Now let's think of the positive side, right? The positive side of the word audacity. Okay. So when you think of positive, you think about the admiral side, right? So key words that you would think of when you think of audacity, since we're speaking of the word for a positive side, would be boldness, you're being daring, courageous, fearless, innovative, and have a very pioneer spirit. You are willing to do whatever you need to do. You have the courage, and you don't care what anybody says. Just like, that guy, Elon Musk, he was doing all kind of things and creating all kind of things. Think about Rosa Parks refusing to give up her seat. These are acts of being admirable or standing up for what they need. This can be audacity. Did y'all know that? I didn't. So audacity is a brave willingness to defy the norm for a greater good or to achieve something. Now, when you hear people say, oh, they have the audacity, for the most part, that's the negative, right? So that means this is something that they were. They were arrogant, they were rude, they were disrespectful. This is a person who cuts you off in traffic, right? And then hunks at you like you did something. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Or maybe someone that you work with that takes the credit for your work in front of your boss. How many of y'all had that happen? It's an offense of disregard for others' feelings or even their boundaries. That's the negative side of audacity. So when you think of the positive, you think of like entitlement, disrespect, and they try to be like, well, I'm being honest, but they're being disrespectful. And then they cross every boundary that you set because they feel superior. And they demand access that they haven't even earned. And you know what? This is ego audacity when it's like this. So when you think of the two sides, think of the positive again. Speaking truth when silence could be easier to do. Betting on yourself when nobody else does. And leaving situations that no longer honor you. And you set your boundaries without no guilt. So, have you ever been proud of your audacity? Now that you think about it, have you ever been hurt by someone else's audacity? Audacity isn't the problem. Misaligned audacity is. So let's keep that in mind, okay? We broke down that word, okay? So I want to talk to you guys about what's the difference between audacity versus being bold. Because that could be, you could say, how can you be bold? And being bold is not considered audacity. But as we went through that definition, boldness is in there, right? So boldness is focused on the action. Audacity involves the perception of that action by others. Let me say that again. Boldness is focused on what you do, your actions, how you move. Audacity involves the perception of the action by others. This is the most crucial distinction. Boldness is simply acting with confidence and determination. You are bold to ask for a raise, right? Audacity is boldness without regard for constraint or social consequence. The moment you cross the line from a determined ask to a disrespectful demand, you enter the realm of audacity. So, admirable audacity. I gave you examples of that. Rosa Parks, an employee asking for therapy. A parent choosing therapy to break generational curses over tradition. A content creator posting content despite circumstances or how they might be belittled. This audacity creates a change. So this would be considered admirable. Okay? Then we have what they call shocking, right? So this shocking audacity, someone cheating and blaming their partner. So you have that in a relationship where that person in the relationship is doing all the bad, right? Doing all the cheating, and they go, well, you doing this and you doing that. I know the way my mama and my grandma taught me, they said usually the person that is accusing is usually the one doing. And that's shocking audacity, okay? A person that disrespects elders under the banner of just keeping it real. This generation is so disrespectful, right? They 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 love keeping it real or keeping it a buck or this is just how I feel, but they do not have respect for the elders. This could be under the realm of shocking audacity, demanding loyalty without giving up respect, violating boundaries, then act confused when consequences arise. Okay? People will violate your boundaries, and then when you decide to no longer associate with them, or you put them off, or you limit access to you, they're confused why it happened. It was because they crossed that boundary. That's part of shocking audacity. And shocking audacity, let me tell you something. It doesn't inspire, it repels. So let's say this together. Not all boldness is brave. Mm-mm. Not all boldness is brave. So keep that in mind. So, all right, lovely Daily Dose of D, Love Palace family. We're going to pause right here, take a breath, let that all land. Because when I come back, we're going to talk about the difference between boldness and audacity. And trust me, a lot of people confuse the two and get themselves in trouble. But don't touch that red button yet. This message might be the mirror you need to look in, but you know you didn't need it. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching Daily Dose of D. Be right back after this message.
Audacity. It is a noun. Audacity refers to boldness, daring, or fearless confidence, especially when someone takes a risk or does something that others might consider shocking or outrageous. It can be positive, showing courage, or negative, showing disrespectful boldness. For example, she had the audacity to speak up against the entire panel. This means she showed bold courage by saying something others might have been afraid to say. Or he had the audacity to accuse them after everything they had done for him. That means he acted boldly in a way that felt rude or disrespectful. The word comes from the Latin audax, meaning bold or daring, which itself comes from audire, meaning to dare. Over time, English adopted audacity to describe both admirable bravery and shocking nerve. Close synonyms include boldness, nerve, and daring. Boldness highlights confidence. Nerve emphasizes shocking bravery or rudeness, and daring focuses on risk-taking. Audacity sits at the center, courage that can be inspiring or unbelievable. So, when someone shows fearless boldness, whether admirable or outrageous, that is audacity.
Welcome back, everybody. If you're still here with me, you are very appreciated. I appreciate everyone for still staying tuned in. We're going to go ahead and get into this word audacity some more, right? Now, let's get to this next part, because boldness and audacity are cousins. Let me say this, because boldness and audacity are cousins, but they're not like twins. Okay? So let's talk about the psychology of audacity. What is an audacious person? Okay? So an audacious person often has an extreme high self-perception. And sometimes it can be the borderline of narcissism. Slow down. They believe that rules that apply to everyone else and don't apply to them, or simple obstacles or tasks It's just easy to disregard and let somebody else do it. This is an audacious person. So when you think about that, it's like, is it really confidence? Can you really have confidence in that? Not exactly. Confidence is based on something that you earn. Audacity is based on unexpected expectation. Audacity can be a mask for insecurity. You're overcompensating for the lack of genuine self-worth by being overly aggressive or presumptuous. When someone says, you have the audacity, when someone uses that phrase, they are signaling two things. Your action violated a social contract, or they are generally shocked by your lack of respect and awareness. Let me say that again. When someone says the phrase, you have the audacity, there's two things. Your action violated their social contract, or they are genuinely shocked by the lack of respect and awareness. It's a verbal slap on the wrist expressing disbelief at your nerve. Okay? Boldness. Boldness here, when you're bold, it is grounded. It is seated. You know what you're going to do, and it's grounded. Audacity is unfiltered. Boldness means you're aware, intentional, respectful, and the respect has a good impact. When you have negative audacity, you're risk oriented, you're very impulsive, and sometimes you're unaware of the harm that you cause to others. So think of this like this. Boldness checks the room, right? There comes boldness in the room. Audacity walks in like it owns the place. So when you're bold, you check it out, you look around. But if you have audacity, you're like, shoot, I know I'm up in here like this. Neither is bad, but wisdom decides which ones you use and the intention that you have behind it. Okay. So, the social impact of audacity. How do people react to audacity now that we know, right? The I don't know. This could cause a split reaction because we learned that it could be two different things. Because it depends on the content, right? If the audacity leads to massive successful outcome, that's great. It's admirable. But if it fails and it's a pure selfishness, it's going to be met with contempt, outrage, and rejection. So, how is audacity viewed in society, especially in this world of social media, y'all? Because social media is a big thing, right? So let's talk about it. Social media is an audacity amplifier. Now, y'all know what an amplifier is? And it makes it louder. Like if you're playing music and you have an amp, it's going to be louder. So social media is that to audacity, okay? It rewards shocking behavior with views and clicks and clickbait and people just following and doing crazy things, right? People gain followers by being incredibly audacious, whether that's through one over-the-top challenge, extreme opinions, or simply a lack of shame. I say this a lot on my live. If I was up here dogging people out, talking about the network, dogging COC, talking about other content creators, floodline of people would come through. Social media is an amplifier for audacity. The problem is that this often glorifies negative audacity, which is rudeness, trolling, yelling, and screaming, all those things. And it makes it seem like it's a valuable path to success, like I mentioned before, because you're going to have so many views. I watched something, content creator the other day, they busting and hollering and they getting super chat, cash out, everything. And I'm like, what? These people really enjoy it. Social media is an audacity amplifier. Social media rewards people that have the shock value. They have the loud opinion, right? The boundary less behavior. Audacity gets clicked, but not all attention is alignment. So ask yourself to yourself, is this bold or is it just plain reckless? Okay. An audacious person believes in themselves deeply, doesn't wait for validation. This is an admirable audacious person. Let me say that. A healthy audacious person believes in themselves deeply. They don't need validation from anybody, and they can tolerate being misunderstood because they're being bold. Remember, that's part of it. They're being bold and they're believing in what they say and what they stand for. And they often, a person that has this admirable audacity, often challenges the norms of the world. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about an unhealthy audacious person, right? Conflict, they confuse dominance with confidence. Mm-hmm. They think that being all telling them how it is and all this, that's being confident. They ignore emotional impact. They don't care how they make somebody feel. They call them all kind of disrespectful names. They say things that hurt them, and they make it about them instead of ever feeling any type of emotion for the other person. And they dismiss feedback. Mm-hmm. That's an unhealthy, audacious person. So, have you ever been around an audacious person? Are you ready to be around an unhealthy one and a healthy one? The questions, this can change everything, right? So, let's talk about life. Audacity doesn't affect just the CEOs, the president, celebrities. It affects our closest bonds. How does this play out in family, friends, and romantic relationships? We're going to talk about it. Okay. So it impacts relationships like family. Okay. An audacious family member might repeatedly, do you have this person in your family? Repeatedly ask for money and never pay it back. Right? Or make a major life decision like moving in without consulting anybody. This is how we've always done it. Audacity disrupts tradition. Because you hear that all the time. I know this is how we've always done it. When you're with family, we did this from generation to generation. It don't mean that it's right. Audacity disrupts tradition. How about in friendship? An audition friend constantly counsels on you. Then they got the nerve to demand favors or use your personal information for their own gain. Growth creates distance. Audacity reveals alignment. And let's go ahead and talk about the romantic relationships, okay? An audacious partner will constantly disregard your boundaries. If you have boundaries, even in romantic relationship, a person that's audacious will disregard your boundaries. They don't care If you don't do certain things, they're like, oh, whatever, I don't care. They lie or make decisions about shared financial living space, living space. If you're a couple that stays together, where they might call, like I know some people that called their mama to come live with them, and they didn't even discuss it with the mate, right? Boundaries expose intention. In romantic relationships, you can say they had the audacity because they might have said something to you like you like, no, they didn't. The audacity, right? Not that they're being bold or courageous about something, is that they literally disrespected you, your boundary, or something that you feel proud about. Okay, so recognizing negative audacity. We're going to talk about this again. Okay. One second. All right. Well, I'm back. So, how we can see the warning signs of a negative audacity. It's always about them. It's the me, and I did this, and me, and I, and I, and I. Always about them. They never apologize for their mistakes, or their apology is an excuse. Well, I'm sorry, but the only reason why I did that was because blah, blah, blah. Or they don't ever apologize. They just say, I'm not going to say nothing, and then be all up in your face like everything is okay. A negative audacity violates boundaries repeatedly and acts surprised when you confront them, like, I don't know why you're acting this way. The audacity, right? And they use phrases like, I was just being honest, just to excuse them being rude, period, in the first place. So, what it can look like is control, gaslighting, and emotional entitlement. When someone says, you had the audacity, that usually means you violated an unspoken rule, you didn't stay in your assigned role, or you disrupted their comfort. It's rarely about manners, it's about power and dynamics. Sometimes audacity threatens people who benefit from your silence. All right, guys. We're going to take a quick break right here because if you've ever been told you had the audacity, there's a good chance it wasn't about what you did, it's what you disrupted. So sit right there for a second. When I come back, we're going to get into the psychology behind audacity, okay? And why people act the way they do and why it triggers others so deeply. Thank you for watching Daily Dose of Dee. Be right back after this message.
Listen, it be the audacities for me. I'm about to say that again. It be the audacities for me. Like the audacity of you to think that that would be cool. Like the audacity of you to think that I would let that ride. Like the audacity of you to do me a way that you know you wouldn't be cool with nobody playing in your face. Like the audacity, it be the audacity for me. The audacity of people, the audacity of their thought pattern, the audacity of how they move, and the audacity how they think and how they talk to you. Listen, it really be the audacities for me in this season. If you are a person that think you can do me a way that I can't do you, think you can talk to me a way that I can't talk to you, think that you can move around me a way that you don't want me to move around you, then please stay from around me. Please stay from around me, baby, because in this season, it really just be the audacities for me.
The audacity! The unmitigated gall! You've called down the thunder.
Welcome back, family. Thank you for staying tuned into Daily Dose of Dee. So now we're going to just wrap this up and talk about how you can handle and how you can survive audacity. We talked about so many things this evening, right? So how are we going to handle and survive audacity? Surviving audacity, the negative audacity, right? So we talked about this a little bit before the commercial break. So you're going to set clear, firm boundaries. Don't argue, just state the boundary and the consequences if they do not follow that boundary. If you bring up the topic again, this is an example, I will end the call. See, set clear, firm boundaries. I know with myself, I set boundaries. I say what's going to happen if you cross that boundary, and then I communicate to you when you cross that boundary so that you know that you crossed it and we already had the discussion. Okay? Don't reward negative audacity. If they are having a rude audacity for attention, don't give them the attention they seek. Starve the behavior. Don't reward it. And use the audacity back. Calmly and plainly, you could just say, this is an audacious ask, and the answer is no. You don't argue with audacity. You know what you do? You set limits. You set boundaries. So you're going to name the behavior. Don't personalize disrespect at all. And remove access if necessary. Boundaries humble audacity faster than confrontation. Let me say that again. Boundaries humble audacity faster than confrontation. Don't argue with it. Set your limitations. Okay? You're going to name the behavior. And you know what? Don't personalize disrespect. You're going to remove yourself if necessary. How to survive it and protect yourself. You can put up an emotional shield. Recognize that their action is a reflection of their own presumptuous, not your worth. Don't internalize disrespect. Period. Okay? Distance, limit exposure. You don't have to engage with people who repeatedly display negative audacity. You can distance yourself. You don't even have to be around it in life, in real life, on social media. Distance yourself. Limit the exposure. And you can do this by trusting your intuition. And at the end, it's all about protecting your peace anyway, right? Because that's what we want to do. We want to protect our peace. Protect your peace. Choosing response over reaction. You don't owe tolerance to disrespect. Just remember that audacity comes from a person's high self-belief, the fear of having rejection, or unresolved insecurity within themselves. And the psychology behind it is they have a sign of self. They don't like to actually analyze themselves, or they use it as a defense mechanism for masking the fear or the situation that they don't want to face. Confident audacity is calm. Unsure audacity is loud. Okay? So there's 3 ways that people respond to audacity, right? The 3 ways are going to be, the 3 ways are inspired. You're either inspired by the audacity because you're like, oh my God, they had bravery and the confidence to do. This is that good audacity, right? They inspired you. Or you either feel threatened because they disrespected you in some type of way, or you're triggered because it reminds you of something else. People respond in three ways: inspired, threatened, and triggered. Audacity becomes like a mirror. It shows people what they won't do, or what they won't face. Okay? So, audacity can be like a double edged sword, right? It can be the spark of genius that changes the world and you, or it could be a toxic entitlement that destroys all your relationships, family, friends, and romantic. The difference, as I stated in the beginning, always lies in its intention. If it's used to break a barrier, it can be used to break a barrier, or it can be used to break a person. Okay? So, I hope you enjoyed this topic today. So, just I want you to ask yourself and just think about it. What is the most audacious thing you've ever witnessed, either if it's positive or negative, and how did it make you feel? So, I close this topic with this. May your audacity be rooted in love and not ego. May your boldness be guided by wisdom and not by words. And may you never shrink because someone else was uncomfortable with your work. I want to again thank everybody for coming to Daily Dose of Dee on this Walk It Like You Talk It Wednesday, okay? Walk it like you talk it. I hope you learned and got some insight of the word audacity. I know I did, and how there's negative and there's positive. Have the audacity to be who you are, to be bold, to be courageous, not rude, not disrespectful, not egotistic, okay? The audacity to be fearful, to break generational curses, and to set your boundaries and limitations. And one way you can do that is by saying no. The word no is going to show people how they are and how they respect you. Okay? So, once again, thank you for coming to Daily Dose of Dee. Thank you for coming to your palace. Peace and love. I will see you guys real soon. I'm going to close you out with, of course, some Samantha Essential promo, right? And don't forget to check out the COC. We still doing good things. I done came back. Queen Kills is going to be doing more lives in 2026. Alicia Dion, Blended Helen, Matthew, Steve Val, and Miss T. Okay? So, everybody have a nice Walk It Like You Talk It Wednesday, either if it's in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening, okay? And I will see you guys real soon. Peace and love.
Off yesterday's way, spell in the steam, peace in the flame. I call my power.
Hi, everybody. Just wanted to show what the product of today is, okay? It fits with the subject of negative audacity, right? Well, Shamaka Essential has this thing called the secret sauce. Here we go. Hopefully y'all can see that well. The secret sauce is a spray, right? So these sprays that you can get on Shamaka Essentials, they're going to help clear your negative energy, stagnant energy, especially that negative audacity, right? It helps with any type of rituals, meditation, manifestation. It's all about having a spray for protection, love, and abundance, right? and spiritual alignment. And it can refresh your aura and any space that you hold sacred in your home or even in your car. Okay? So make sure you go. Let me get it right, get it tight for y'all. To Shamaka Essentials, right? So she is having a sale. This is the secret sauce. C-Val calls it something else. It's BB Gone sauce. But this is on there as well. Check out the whole entire website for her Holistic Royalty by Kels has tinctures over there as well. They have joint courses, and you know that's big COC energy when we do that. Go right now to Shamaka Essentials, a whole www.com she is, okay? She's partnered up with Holistic Royalty by Kels and the big 30% sale. Right now, a 30% sale, everything. So when you check out, put in the big 30 to get your discount. Okay? So go on over and shop at Shamaka Essentials. Okay? Tell them about a season.
Shamaka Essentials. That's essential. Just love we know. COC moving in a sacred flow. Every breath, every touch, every sound lifts us higher when the love comes around. Flow, clear. We let it guide us slow. COC together, that's how we grow. No fear, no pressure, just truth we show. Love is the rhythm in the flow. Soft words spoken, healing.
Don't listen to the exterior narrative. The interior one is the one that counts the most. Others might not understand how you can get through it. If you can talk yourself into a moment that you can see for yourself so clearly, then you gotta believe that too.
Love like she don't just love, she heals and keeps. Let go, let flow. Daily dose of D in the land free. In the love palace, ships dock even key. Yeah, we guide the tide. God is deep. Whispering back when your heart needs reminding. D is divine, D is daily, D is love, a daily dose.